Today I have the pleasure of chatting with a longtime friend of mine. We've been pounding the streets of Hollywoods back in the day. I almost slipped there, and that was going to sound weird because anything that comes after we've anyway. He's stunningly handsome, which is why he gained a lot of work as a model first, then moved in the old TV and film acting world, followed by producing, and then his natural ease on camera has elevated this career as a host. Not to mention being easy to look at. I mentioned he's enormously attractive yet. Rob's also the executive producer and partner at Making It Media, which has had 11 Emmy nominations already. And I want to welcome Rob to the podcast.
Thank you, thank you. No, I'm super blessed to be here, and to say that we are old friends is an understatement. I believe, if I recall correctly, it all started about 14 years. The Girl Next Door?
God, yeah, I think so.
Was it The Girl Next Door?
I think so.
Yeah,
Man, was it 14? No, that's
that's almost 20,
16 or
18,
7.
a long time ago. Yeah, we all met, an amazing crew met at the Girl Next Door. That we were all, uh, glorified extras
Yep.
on that, and that connected us all to this amazing crew of what I call my Texas slash, LA friends, and we've all gone on to do our things. But that was, man, that was another lifetime ago.
Oh, absolutely. We're gonna get into that reincarnation because that's what I call it. We're completely different humans than we are now.
In some ways,
Um,
yeah, for
and
sure.
we're constantly evolving. We're
Yeah.
always having this reinvention as we reapproach new things. It's funny. My wife still, when I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna catch up with Rob, she's like, oh, shaving the chest guy is what Rob and I did
Yeah.
a pilot
We,
back in the day,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
Rob played my older brother. And one of the things we're having a chat with Rob is kind of a talking head style, and Rob's shaving all areas
I
during the show.
Look, I was trying to play your older brother. We had a match,
Yeah,
the hairy chested, the Italian in me just was
right.
poking out.
I know. I don't mind. Mine doesn't poke out much.
But yeah, no, that's where our journey started. It's crazy to see where it all goes,
Oh my
and
gosh.
I think it's a testament to um, kind of just my philosophy behind the industry now, and kind of my philosophy of, the thing about us is we I don't think we haven't lost a lot of friends along the journey, which is really good. I mean, I can count on my hands how many friends, and those are probably friends that that should have gone, And at the end of the day, I have new cheers in life where I go, here's to the friends we have, the friends we lost, and the friends we meet along the way, because that is the true sort of meaning behind all this, is just the relationships and the connections and the people we meet. It really is the grounding force behind just happiness.
Mm.
Um, it's not the amount of work we get or awards we win or things we do as much as you think it is, and then you get to that point and you go, okay, got it. I got
Yeah,
it. It's these relationships we build. So, super blessed to be here, man.
it's that Jim Carrey reference where it says, I wish that everyone could get this level of success so they could realize that that's not at all what it's worth."
Yeah. Although having no success also hurts.
Yeah, sure, it
You know,
does.
I always say, I have my own version of all that stuff. But yeah, 100%.
I want to hear it. That's what we're here for today, Rob. I want to hear your perspective because since the day we've met, you have always been one of the most positive human beings I've ever met. I've never had a conversation with you that I left feeling down. I have always been uplifted by you, no matter what the conversation has become.
One, and I think part of that is one, I've always had the perspective of like, I'm gonna figure it out. Even if it's bad, it's gonna work itself out. But, I would say I've tried my best to hold on to that mindset, to that ability to basically always be positive. The more employees you have, the harder that gets. Um, but at the end of the day, like, it, life is what you make it to an extent, and that was kind of, even at, I would say I was at my lowest of lows in my life about 2 years ago, about a year and a half ago, and that's what really challenged me and really forced me to create my what. Where does this all come from? Why am I doing what we're doing? Why am I here? What is an artist's journey? What does success look like? And I really just started having that deep conversation with myself And that's when I decided I was going to do something I probably should never do, is write a book. And that's when I wrote my first book, which was Making It, an artist's handbook to career and mental success. And there was a heavy emphasis on mental success
Yeah.
because that's kind of was the journey I was going through, you know. And I think, granted, Jim Carrey and him getting to that level of success is far different than I've ever gotten to. Um, but at the end of the day, it's like I had to shift it all to get back to that person that was always happy, because that's
I
who I
think
am.
it's
I am a happy person, and that's what I had to find my way to get back to, and realizing and change some things for myself again, because I was losing it, you know,
I
and
think it's
that's real.
similar journey though, you know, like I mean, you think about someone like Jim Carrey and he hit that. He hit the same, you know, different type. Sure, he had millions in his bank when he hit that rock bottom, but I think he hit the same kind of wall. I think we all of us that finally have that perception shift, that have that moment of like, holy crap, is this worth it? This, what, I hate to even use the word, but this struggle. I've always, every time I've heard someone talk about, yeah, you got to struggle, you got to grind, and I'm like, God, that just sounds so
But
painful,
do I?
right? Like,
Well,
why?
you know, and I agree with that, but I also disagree with the portion of, do you have to struggle? Yeah, you do.
You do.
At the same time, we hold on to this lingering effect of the people around us finding success. And then we always say, well, when's my turn? When's my shot? When am I up? The answer is one of two things: maybe never, maybe someday.
Yeah,
And the baseline to that is maybe never or maybe someday. The baseline is, of the things you can't control, when is my turn? And so that was what my book was all about. There's a
yeah,
huge fundamental shift in the concept of, when is my turn next? Well, your turn's next when you put the work to make something that is your turn. And
right.
so making it in this industry as an artist, as an entrepreneur, as a creative, is no longer about um, money, awards, accolades, how many roles I booked. That is a baseline of, the true meaning of it is, as an artist or whatever you want to do, making it as these ideas that we have in our head. And you're the only one that has these ideas, as whether you're a singer, a writer, a director, a podcast, whatever it is, you have these ideas. I want to go do this. Making it is so simple. Making it is taking that idea, making it something tangible, finishing the project, and then once you have it, I just did my podcast. I'm like, oh, let me hear it. Oh, here it is. It is actually no longer a place or a thing that is reached. Making it as a tangible product that you've created, that you made it. I made this. Here it is. And every time you make something, you've officially accomplished your job as an artist, was to create something that did not exist, and then now you are in it. And that's what making it is. That's the baseline of it. Everything else is a byproduct of you making the things over and over and over again. Like a guy who builds his first house, he's probably not great at it. Builds 20 houses, he's getting better at it. And that's the baseline. And I think we forget that, and we lose that. We always want the money, and we want the roles and the this and the that. But what can you do within your ecosystem to create the art that you want to create? And that's the baseline.
Yeah.
The other portion of it is, I was having this conversation with someone the other day, that I said, if you are an actor or an actress, and you want to be on, what's a big show, The Big Bang Theory, 10 things need to happen for The Big Bang Theory to be The Big Bang Theory, and for your success within it. Of those 10 things, four are in your control. Meaning, and this is, and you can add in if you think it's, but this is kind of how I broke it down.
Gimme.
One, you have to have an agent. Two, you have to get the audition. So the thing in your control is doing the audition well. That's in your control. Getting the call back, doing it again, booking the role, shooting the pilot, and then shooting the series. From there, it has to go longer than season one. It has to go longer than 6 episodes, then
Yeah.
longer than season one, then longer than season two, and then so pretty much of the 10 things, four things are in your control that are really, not nothing about yourself. So I always make that joke, because at the end of the day, you realize that in this industry, So many things are out of your control, so you better start controlling the things that you can control,
Yeah.
which is, and now even better time than ever with Instagram and Facebook and all these platforms that you just say, hey, look, I'm going to make something, so freaking make it.
Yeah.
But I was sorry, that was my rant, but that's my version
Right.
of success and what I think the industry is right now and what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, there's so many platforms. There's just so many ways to create. You've got a cell phone that shoots 4K on your hand. You could edit on that same cell phone. There's nothing to stop you from creating things now, or just
No,
putting every thought you have.
yeah, and that's also a part of to a fault. I think everybody's leaning towards being viral. How do I become viral? How do I become popular? How do I become this? And I think it's taken away from a little bit of just what we're actually supposed to be doing as creatives. It's like, who am I? What do I want to create? And who do I want to become? It's easy if you want to just say, I'm going to be this person that pranks or does this or does that. That's the easy version of it. Still hard. You still have to go out and do it,
Yeah, and
but
consistency.
and consistency of doing it. So, but the bigger question is like, who do you want to become and be remembered by, and how do you want to do it? My journey's led me to here, where I've done a bunch of other things, but even I'm having this conversation with myself of who's the next evolution of who I'm going to be in the world of the worlds, and I know what that answer is, and so now it's a matter of okay, now go for it and push and be that person, be the voice in that sector, and then you become the voice.
What do you feel is
So,
like your kind of daily practice to keep you focused on that goal?
so I have three goals. Sorry, I have three practices. The first practice is at the beginning of the year. It's not even a New Year's resolution. It is my task list, and I write down 12 things, six personal, six business. And the six things for business are I'm going to have my company accomplish A, B, C, D, certain number of certain things. And they get progressively harder. And the last one is hard, but not so hard I know I can't accomplish it, but just enough to where you clench your butt cheeks. You're like, ooh, can I do that?
Kapush.
Can I? Like, and it's that level because if you set your goals so far out of being accomplished, you get frustrated and you go. So every year I put 12 in there and I see how fast I can knock those 12 out. This year I knocked them out in 7 months. And so after 7 months, I have another couple of months to go. And so I write down a whole new list that I have to try to accomplish with at the end of the year. So that's the core baseline. Um,
Yeah.
and so that's one. And then I have an ever flowing to do list that gets added on every single day. And then by the end of the week, I try to knock off as many as I can do. And that's one. Um, and then the last one is just having a very clear vision of what you want. I think what you want is going to dictate your task list. I know what my
Hmm.
want is now personally. I know what my company's want is. I want to grow this company into becoming the next travel channel. So that's my overarching. But what does that mean for me as a voice? Okay, so for me as a voice, I know that I want to be the voice for vacation rentals. I look in the market of what is out there in the ether, and I don't see anybody being the voice for something that I am organically already doing. So that's
Hmm.
where I go, okay, so how can I be the voice for vacation rentals? Well, I already have my show for about vacation rentals, so what can I do more and more? And that's the evolution. So you have to kind of know who you are and what you want to do, but you also have to kind of make a task list and knock them out one at a time. That works for me. I have ADD, so I have to visually see it, and if I see myself falling too far behind, I'm like, okay, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven,
I
and
would
just
say
knock it
that
out.
that clarity that you have though is also where you get that inspired action, right? Because you can have once you figure out what that main goal is, these other set of six kind of clarifies themselves versus like, let me try to figure out what the six and then figure out what the main goal is. You can't. It's hard to go
Well,
that route.
more importantly than clarifying what your main goals are is you have to know what you're trying to accomplish. And does that mean you're doing it by yourself, or does that mean that you are building a house with someone else?
Hmm.
The best advice I could ever give anybody, and this is not even advice, this is just if you're building a house, people have been doing plumbing for a lot longer than you've been doing plumbing, so ask for help. If you're trying to write a script, people have been writing scripts a lot longer than you have. Go get help. Or if your idea is to write a script because you want to make a movie, but you're not good at writing a script, then you have someone write the script. You direct it, you host it, you know what you want to do, and then you bring in your passion will bring in people to make your dream come true if you do the due diligence. I feel like a lot of people they're always going to say, "Oh, I don't have any money." You don't have to have money anymore. Now, you have to have money to make a major motion picture, yeah.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, we have phones, we have editing softwares, we have this. You can create. You think Spielberg had this at his disposal when he was this age? It's like he was, it's like that's all I'm saying. We have so much technology. In our production company, we use a $2,000 camera to shoot our shows, and we're winning Emmys. So what's the excuse?
Yeah.
We make our shows. If I told you what we make our shows for, it is 1/10 of what a network show costs. And it's because you just get really good at what you do. That's it. You buy into it, you believe in it, you get the right people around it, you do it over and over and over again, and
You
first
get
time I
better
rode
and
a bike,
better.
it wasn't good. It took 20 years.
But you could pedal now.
I can pedal for what I know, So,
Right, yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
see, my I don't remember if you remember a buddy of mine, AJ Rome, but he has a course and a program that he's been working and helping people with. It's literally called One Grand Film, which is to
Hmm.
focus of make your film for $1,000. Make your
Yeah.
first 5 films for under that money. Figure out how you do it, make the mistakes, elevate, elevate, elevate.
Yeah. That's it. And guess what? Ask for help.
God, yeah.
Everybody forgets that. Ask.
And
People
there's
want to
so
help,
much
believe
free
it or not.
information.
There's beyond free information, and work with people who are way better than you.
Yeah.
That's the key. Work with someone way the hell better than you. That's the only way you're gonna move up anywhere in the industry. And believe it or not, people ask me for help all the time, and I go, okay, I will give you I will lead you to the water. Now it's on you.
Where would you say the idea of kind of the manifestation and the visualization comes in for you of once you have the idea of what it is, do you ever have that practice of let me see myself getting there, let me get in resonance with that being?
The best example I can use is Staycation, the show that we're shooting right now. Our production company makes travel television shows. COVID hits. All my money, everything in my whole life is tied into this making it media. I go, oh crap. Small businesses are getting shut down. That's our core. What are we going to do? And the first idea I had was we were looking with my family at staying at a vacation rental. And I was like, wait, these are still open. So the impetus of the idea isn't what it is now, but the evolution of your idea grows as you go. And so my first idea was let's do a show about vacation rentals, but let's do it in a smart way. I had a vacation rental with my family. I want to figure out to create a way, a show that's like Shark Tank that I could watch it, but while I'm watching it, I can organically make the choice if I want to book this thing or not. That to me is different than $1 million listings and all these other shows because there's fake homes, fake people, all about drama. I was on a drama reality show with an ex-girlfriend of mine, and I said, not again. I said, if I'm going to create programming, I want to create programming that helps people and positive and is actually like progressively smart. Not that I'm saying that that show is not progressively smart, but it's
It's not the
progressively.
target.
The target is to like how much can I beat the other person down until they're beat down enough to where that we get the ratings high enough. And I
Yeah.
just wanted a show that just created positivity and created revenue. And I was like, that's smart to me. And so that was the idea of the show. And so I started out in COVID just shooting vacation rental homes, and the vacation rental homeowners helped split the production costs with me because
Wow.
they got to be on television. I would find local marketing and this and that, and um, I would make a show for 20 grand. And we are now uh, in the third season, full real budgets now. Um, in syndication nationwide, airing on 4 different platforms. And like you said, we've won a bunch of awards. But the beginning idea was me willing it to the world. And once I created a pilot, So the cool thing is the longer you're in the industry, the longest you're in with around creatives, you start to find people that are good at the different thing that you're not good at. So I am really good at finding this weird creative thing in my brain, and I have a vision for it. And then I have two friends, these guys, Marvin and Neil, and I go, Marvin, I have this idea, and he's a German director of photography, creative, and he goes, "Oh, I see what you're saying." And we went out and shot the entire episode with, at the time, me and my girlfriend, who was the set, like the sound,
Doing everything.
and
Yeah.
him, and we shot it. And I reached out to a buddy who just started a vacation rental management company at 17 homes. Turns out he's now the largest vacation rental management company in the U.S. Propelled the content to do whatever it is. But at the end of the day, that was it. I willed it to life. I shot a 4 minute sizzle reel of his home, of what it looked like, and it was exactly what I thought. And then I locked in one home, and locked in two homes, and then I had a city, and I was on the call. Where I'm at in my career right now is there's no ego to this. I
Yeah.
was on every single phone call. I'm talking to every single cast member. I'm talking to every single person. I'm locking in. I'm getting sponsors. I'm getting the network. I'm doing this. I'm doing it because I don't care how big you get, you have to will it to life. And I willed it from nothing. And that saved the company and turned the company around. And then that brought it in. And, our other portion of the company really came back up. But it's just, you have to freaking will it. And every single person that tells you differently got lucky, got a home run, but
Yeah.
it's not. I mean, it's not easy. You have to really like this industry. You
Yeah.
have to really love what you do, and the reward system is this. The reward system is sitting down with you and going like, oh,
Looking back and holy crap, I did do all this so far.
I did do all this. 20 years ago, we were on set. If you and I were sitting on that set 20 years ago, and you're like, Rob, in 20 years from now, you're going to do this. And I'm like, Dean, 20 years, you're going to have this. What would you say? You'd be like, I'm good. So why is it in the present we can't be happy with that? That's the real question. Where's your reward system for
Yeah.
creating this podcast? Where's your reward system for doing that? And that's just, it sounds stupid, but that's just waking up and brushing your teeth and looking in the mirror and be like, fuck yeah. Like, I love you today. Good job. Let's go kick ass. And the more you do that to yourself, the more you have these moments. Like, my biggest reward system was a month ago when I finished another project I was working on, and I sat down and I got the book in from Amazon. I opened it up and I just skimmed through it, and I just said, "Fuck, good job, Rob." Because the validation from the outside world doesn't mean anything.
Nah.
And here's the thing: that if the book sells one copy or 1,000 copies, it's probably just my family buying it. It is what it is. Like, you just had a book. You just wrote a book,
Yeah.
and so you get it. So the idea of it is, and if no one's told you good job yet, good job.
Thank you, sir.
Because
Congratulations, by the way. Frankie's Note, and it will be coming out not too long, huh? Probably getting pretty close.
speaking, yes, hi, Frankie's Note. I don't know if you've seen this. This is
Mm.
no, this is my second book. It's like a pre-teen book. The audio also in audiobook. So that was a lot of fun. Got to work with an actor directing an audiobook, making it come to life. But it's a story about a boy who's turning 11, and he finds out his dog is super sick and is going to pass away, and so his family takes him to his favorite pizzeria where this magical owner, Sal's Pizza, finds out what's going on, and he offers him a magic candle to make one wish, and he just says, you should maybe wish for one more big adventure with your pup." And he does, and the next morning, the dog, Frankie, his best friend for growing up for 11 years, becomes a boy, and they had this ultimate adventure. Imagine you've got to hang out with your dog for one day as a human. They conquer their fears, they conquer the bully, they do all these things, but more importantly, they learn that the reason why dogs are so happy all the time is because they're so present. Every time you walk back in the room, every time you just give them food, every time, like, they are always just freaking happy the moment you like give them any sort of anything. And the whole concept of the book is if you can live life like a dog and be present in every moment, then life will be a little better. It's getting off your phones. And actually, it was an incredibly cathartic thing for me because I wrote it for um, a very special person. It was actually a boy, my ex-girlfriend's kid, and it was a very cathartic thing for me because all my character flaws are in that I had in that relationship, like being on my phone too much, doing things. I wrote that into the book, and no one
That's
will ever
great.
know except for me. But at the end of the day, it's a really magical, fun story about just childhood and getting to hang out with your best friend if it was a coming alive, and also about death. What does that look like? And so there's a whole twist at the end that's has a little twist of magic to it. And so I think that was kind of fun writing something nonfiction. So
That's really awesome that you were able to find the, what we call negatives in our own existence to be able to elevate this book in a way that not only does it other people get to try to, learn from that, but it's a reminder for ourselves. We get to every look at that book every day, you see it and go, put that phone back down. I'm here
mhm,
with you. And that's the
mhm,
thing is like we've got so much in this life, but the only thing that we truly really have is the attention. We can give our attention or we can just waste that attention.
yeah,
Whoever gets that attention, I'm there's I have, think I've ever had a conversation with someone that I didn't stop talking if they picked up their phone.
hmm,
If you're not here with me, then I don't deserve your attention. Then I don't want to waste my attention. I would rather do, we understand this law of manifestation at this point. So why would I want to waste that? And it's the biggest
yeah.
gift I could give. I can't give that to anybody else.
Well, and that is very pointed. You say that because that is one of the biggest things that I've been learning and I've been struggling with is not doing this. Yeah, because there is employees and this and that
Yeah,
option, and I'm trying to and my excuse always was I'm working. I gotta do this because the voice in my head was telling me I gotta be successful. I gotta make more money. I gotta do this so I can be the man that's gonna provide to be the person that you're gonna need me to
right.
be. And guess what? The person you need me to be is right here. I will go accomplish those other things and I will work my time appropriately to accomplish those other things. But the man you need me to be is here, not in here. And that's been my biggest struggle as a man is understanding being present,
Yeah,
understanding being not on my phone. Like I will accomplish work because I will accomplish work because I know I'm going to accomplish it. But when I'm at work, I'm going to be at work.
yeah,
And when I'm here, that was one of the character flaws I made in the book was I was on my phone interacting with my ex and her two boys, and I was always on my phone. And they it got to the point it was so bad they bought me a phone jail box for Christmas. And if that wasn't a light bulb for me,
yeah,
and I still didn't hear it because in my brain I was like, I'm trying to provide for everybody. I want to get to this place for you for this. So my intentions were right,
sure.
but my actions, and that's just so interesting. The more you grow up, you can be like, my intentions are in the right place, but my actions need to shift because, like you said, you're not creating the moment you need to create when doing that. So, very interesting as we get older, and you don't think about, we're obviously as humans all about our intention and
Yeah.
trying to do it, but you can realize you can still have the right intention and be completely wrong,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's when you kind of go, oh,
I mean, you think about, because you obviously have been doing acting since you were quite young as well, and you think about two of the main things that you really learn or that we try to master and understand as actors, which really gets us to this next level. One, presence. If I can truly just be in the moment, I don't even care if I get the lines right. I'm going to be better than everybody in there because I'm here.
yeah,
Two, if I can make sure I'm approaching this character from a place of love and not that other side of fear. Because if I could approach it from love, then no matter what, the intention, even if you're playing the most horrible human in the world, you thought you were doing it for the right reason.
I want to even challenge that even a little bit more, and this was
Go.
something I uncovered. And I think there's another word besides love.
Mm-hmm.
I think everything that we do in life is based off two basic choices. And I think love and love and fear are close, and I think fear is 100% accurate. I think a lot of people misconstrued the word love.
That's
I
fair.
think,
My overall goal is to help people find tools and processes that can increase your health and wellness, all while building the life you desire. You all know how important ingredients are to me, and that's why I want to share Organifi with you. I use a lot of their tools, and here's why. All of their products are USDA organic, certified gluten free, glyphosate residue free, non GMO verified, and supported by Vitamin Angels. Everything is sourced from ethical farms and delivered in sustainable packaging. You can go to OrganifiShop.com and use code WEST20 for a whopping 20% off. Now back to the show.
and so I look at it with a different word, and I've been telling everybody this word recently. I said, as humans, we all react off two things: fear or pleasure. And a basic example: I'm going to go make more money because I'm afraid I can't pay the bills, or I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to make more money so I can go on vacation. Vacation sounds fun, or I'm doing it out of fear because I can't pay my bills. And so, what's your intention of going to work? And I think when I think when I hear the word love, which is accurate, I think
Yeah,
pleasure is part of love.
absolutely.
I I was able to like find the word pleasure incredibly more powerful in the sense of everybody can understand why am I going to work today? Because I have to pay bills. Okay, well then when you have a little bit of money saved up, why am I going to work? Because I got a vacation coming up and I'm going to make a little bit more, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, why am I making this choice? Why am I going to go on this date tonight? Am I going to do it? I'm afraid of being alone and not have kids, or am I doing it because I cannot? So it's like these very interesting, it's a pleasure, it's like, so I agree with you 100%. I just wanted to add on that because I think,
Yeah.
sometimes actors take the word love and they make it this
Sure.
emotional, like butterfly-y feeling. And I think sometimes butterflies are misconstrued for just even pleasure. Um,
Yeah, because I think a lot of times pleasure and love are consistently just mismatched or misunderstood, and I think
yeah,
that takes that level of a level of perspective in life till you get to that point of understanding what that is. Because I think most people have an idea of what they think love is to begin with,
yeah,
but until you've either truly fell in love with someone that you've would be willing to give up anything for, to an extent, we can get into
yeah.
those.
That's a whole deeper. That's a whole
we
deeper thing.
we can get
Yeah,
into that.
there's healthy love, and then there's
Yes.
like no, but it's you're 100% accurate. Yeah, I mean, I
Or have
think
a kid,
yeah.
or a
Oh,
dog. Those two things teach you more than you will ever learn in a relationship, because having a kid is all on you.
yeah,
And having a dog, like you said, that dog is going to love you no matter what you do. You can come home and beat that dog majority of the time, and it's still probably going to wag its tail at least at first when it sees you.
yeah. Before fear kicks in,
Yeah.
and I 100% agree with you. I think that's part of how we're wired. But you know, relationships are a whole different conversations, especially when you start talking about acting and what relationship are you building with the character next to you, and what is that relationship? And the older you get, the deeper you get with these dynamics of these relationships, because you have to, or you don't.
Right.
And sometimes some of my favorite people on this planet are people that are just like Labradors, where they're just like, I don't know, and I love life, and I'm like, oh wow, yeah, I mean, could go you, but yeah,
Yeah.
no, I think the goal at some point, the older you get, I feel like the more work you do on yourself, the more it opens up different things.
Hmm.
Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. Part of the reason why I think I was always so happy all the time, because I was like, everything works out for me. We're good. Even if it didn't
But it
work out,
probably
well, yeah,
helped. That was a good
it,
portion of that kept you rolling as well.
yeah. And then when
You
life
know?
got hard, there's one person when life got hard, there's always one person you can point your finger at, and like, what's the common denominator? And you go, oh yeah,
Mirror.
yeah, mirror, mirror on the wall, you keep messing this up every
Damn
fall.
you.
Yeah.
Damn you, Dean.
But yeah, that's kind of the journey of where and what and where I've been and what I've been doing. It
The
works.
the
Yeah.
the kid thing you said with the phone, there's a parenting thing I follow on Instagram, and one of the ones was talking about, the kid and phone thing. And they were talking about how a child kind of builds its hierarchy. And if every time the kid comes to you, you're, yeah, yeah, no, 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 I'm gonna get it. Okay, right. No, that's great, honey. They start realizing that that becomes the more important than them. So they set themselves at this hierarchy. That has always stuck with me. Almost every time my kid comes in, I'm like, almost like someone hit my hand, and I'm like, yes, what do you need? Which is probably going to turn out to backfire at some point as well, because now she's just going to think that she takes my attention every time. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's like,
Is there a right and wrong of
no.
basically saying like, look, it's there's no perfect.
Mm-mm.
There's no even understanding of close of what even perfect freaking means. But you do have 15 years with your kid, 16 years maybe that depending on how quick they grow up. But you have 15 years to try to be as impactful on their life to set them up to be the best human possible. The first three is just making sure they don't kill themselves,
Yeah.
basically. And then from there on, it's like, okay,
And then the next four, I would say, to really set the
yeah,
mind.
yeah. And my favorite line is raising kids is basically uh, the flip side of raising a kid is when the kids start to realize that the parents are still trying to raise themselves. Like we're still, you just never stop figuring it out.
Yeah.
And even though you might have one tranche of your thing figured out, like maybe the business side is figured out, well, maybe the relationship side is figured out. Like it's always interesting. Someone once challenged me. They said, "Tell me a person that their career." It's always one of the two. It's either your career is being super successful or your relationship is being super successful. A lot of times and that was an interesting thing. And I was like, name one time in your life both were doing great. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh. And there's probably tons of different
Sure.
people that have accomplished both that don't have ADD. Um,
There was a Tony Robbins. It was either him or Dean Graciosa, one or the other. But there's like a circle graph that they show, and it's got all of the different. It's
yeah,
family, work, all these different little things, and you go through and you mark from 1 to 10 where you think you feel like you are in all of them. And when you line it all the way around, and it literally shows you the diagram of like, oh, holy shit, my spiritual life is pure poop. But this is great. What is that? Oh, fun.
yeah,
And it helps you kind of get an idea of, okay, I need to find this happy medium. And I think that's kind of what we all slowly work towards is trying to find this level flow of life where we're able to enjoy our free time and our work starts becoming a part of our fun time, which I gotta say, while there's tons of stress that I'm sure you go through, what a hell of a job, man.
yeah.
I mean,
I
whew,
have to remind myself that all the time. I and that's part of the my dream as a kid was to be in the entertainment industry and to travel for a living. And I always and that's the biggest mind screw that you have as an artist is you always assume something. I
yeah,
assumed it would be like Bradley Cooper. I assumed I'd be an actor on set and I would be like traveling and I'd do these roles and I'd do these things. Now that might be an easier setup in the sense of I haven't had to do as much payroll and employee work and all this stuff on the back end or grunt or grind my way into
yeah.
doing what I'm doing. But that's part of what it is. If you want something enough, you can will it into existence. Just remember that the idea of what you thought it is always going to be different than the actual thing it is.
I think that's such a huge lesson
Yeah.
as actors and life. I mean, you that's probably one of the other key things I took in my career that really shifted my work was what are you diagramming your fucking scene? You don't know how that shit's gonna go. You can prepare for what's already happened. You can prepare
Yeah.
for who this human is and what you're dealing with. But how that scene goes, you better drop all expectation. Because
Yeah.
if you've already decided how it's going to go, I can promise you it's not going to be good.
Well, and that's something that I would always commend you on is your preparation, the amount of work you've done for your roles, the amount of roles you've done. I think there was a moment that I lost the passion for acting. I just said I've done it. and
Yeah.
and I'm good. There was that moment 6, 7 years ago where I was like, I'm going to do real estate.
I'm not gonna.
I had that conversation. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm good. Maybe I'm not good at this, and that was like 35 credits in, guest star recurrings, like all these things, but I was never the guy. I never got a series that led to wherever. I was surrounded by people who were already on big roles doing things and doing all these things and the comparison thing and this and that. And I just, you know,
I think that gets most of us, the comparison game, the compare and despair of especially us living in Hollywood with, Shane West and all these friends of ours that are just like
yeah,
nonstop. And, we do want to compare. It's it's second nature for humans
yeah.
to see. And now, of course, with social media and everything, that's a whole nother deal. But now we all look at Rob and we're like, God, why? What am I doing wrong?
Well, what's the best learning lesson I ever had for this? And you don't know, and this is life. Life is three things: things you know, things you don't know, things you don't even know because you don't even don't know it yet, and
Love
that's
that one.
everything. But the thing I didn't even know because I didn't know it yet is when I had a conversation with my sister, who is obviously she's done very well in the industry,
Yeah.
and I was having a conversation with her, and she was talking about acting, and she was on a show called Revenge, and she was just like, ugh. She goes, I didn't get a role. I'm not. She's like, I haven't even made it yet. She's like, I'm not successful. And I go, what are you? You are one of the top five biggest supermodels ever. You've been on massive movies. You're on a show. And she goes, yeah, but like this girl's making it. And then she goes, yeah, but Matt Damon, he's made it. Like that's a superstar. Like and I just something went off in my brain. I said it doesn't matter the level because the moment she said Matt Damon, I very famously remember the quote that Matt Damon says, "I work so much because I never know the day I'm going to stop working." And that
Hmm.
fear-based mentality that we are is so ingrained into our being because we get rejected so many times and we're told no, and we see in the industry that it's as fleeting as anything that light bulb went on for me that basically just said, "Oh, it doesn't matter how much you've done. You still think it's going to go away, and you still don't think it's enough because you." And so ever since then, I look at what I have and I go, you know what? I'm living the dream. I've willed it into existence with I mean, I'm getting gray hairs and wrinkles and I'm wearing a hat now, but like I have forced it and willed it and pushed it into basically ending a relationship that was the biggest love of my life up to that point in my life to basically say either follow your dream and move to LA or stay in Santa Cruz and get a desk job.
Yeah.
And I just said I'm not done yet. I'm not done. And maybe that was the wrong decision, or maybe the decision was how can I be of service to help people nowadays? And so when I look at the job I do now and I go around the world to show people the best vacation rentals and we help small businesses and do what we do, I always tell everybody we work with, I go, this might be the first and last time you're ever on TV. It's my job to be present and to get a piece of your little world and soak every piece of that in. So when I meet a new person for the first time, they're letting me into their home and I'm learning everything about them. And I get a little nugget of what that life is, of who they are and their husband, their relationship, and all the money they spent to buy this one house and all of these things. And it's so unbelievably impactful for me because I get just a little clip into someone's world and being an empath and I feel it and I go, oh wow. And listening and then meeting their dad. And I just got back from Denver and I met the girl's dad whose mom just lost her mom and I have these conversations. And there's just the impactful stories that I get and I just go, oh man, money can't buy this. Awards can't give you that. And having, it's like I'm doing everything I've ever wanted to do. The only thing I could do could make more money, to buy more things, to take care of the people I want to take care of.
Yeah.
That's it.
I
So,
think it's
so
similar for me. It
yeah,
was this podcast was one of those things that it was like I'm not. not doing no one starts a podcast thinking, oh, this will pay the bills, right? Like this
Yeah.
isn't sitting in what you expect what you're gonna do it for. I got into it because I was like, man, I get to catch up with my friends. I get to help one. I get to help new actors and just humans in general. I think acting has a lot of stuff that the everyday human can grasp and use for their regular day lives if they use
Hmm.
it well enough. And I wanted to be able to one catch up with friends, and those friends now get to share their perspective of coming up through this Hollywood or this world, this life, this stuff we've done because so many of our friends have just, had amazing lives. They may not even realize what they've done or how they did it. But think about it, when we were starting off, you didn't have these things. You didn't have any way to go, oh, let me go tune in to, Keanu Reeves telling me how he made it or what he did to get to where he is. This is a way that I kind of get to give back a little
Yeah.
bit. And I, like you said earlier, I think all of us have a point in this career, unless, and even then, I was going to say, unless you've like hit it huge as a, beginner actor and all of a sudden you just got a show. But even those guys tend to have a moment later on that they're like, I think it's over,
Oh, I can tell you 20 of them.
right?
I was talking to Michael B. Jordan before Fruitville Station,
Yeah.
and he was like, "I quit. I'm quitting. I'm done. I'm done. Like I can't do it anymore, man. I'm thinking I'm done." I was like, nah, "Maybe I'm not good."
Yeah.
And then, but that's also part of the dangling carrot that we all stick around for.
Yeah.
And I think that once you realize that that dangling carrot is not the reason you do it, everything else is a byproduct of just doing what you want, doing what's in your head.
Hmm.
Do that first. Everything else is a byproduct. I mean, and everything else is also a hack. I'll tell you that.
True.
What most people don't understand about this industry, I'd say 75% of it is smoke and mirrors. And I can tell someone in a half hour lecture course of how to create a television show and get it onto a network in a way you never even knew.
Hmm.
And I could do it. I know I have the ability to basically create any show I want and have it air on a certain network in Los Angeles, wherever, on CBS, and I could do it. It took a while to get there,
Yeah.
but I know how now to pass that information on to someone else. Um, and the information out there. I also know how to get people to be successful at winning awards or doing this or doing that. At the baseline of it, though, unless you start doing the work and spending the energy doing it, like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You can, just you should remove should out of your vocabulary. That's the big one I'm working on recently. I really should go to the gym tomorrow. No, I'm going to the gym tomorrow. Like that's the biggest thing I'm removing from my vocabulary is the word should. And once you hear how many times you say should in a day, remember that. While you're watching this, if I receive one thing, just watch how many times you say the word should in one day. If you shift that should to I'm doing it now or I'm doing it, I heard this interesting research. It takes most human beings a week to make one decision in their life. If you can make that decision in 2 days, what you've accomplished now is you've become a very miraculous person in what you can accomplish in a matter of 1 month. So if you're making four big decisions a month, uh, as compared to double that, triple that, and these decisions are like this: I should go to the gym. I should eat healthier tonight. I should eat a salad. And the decision is simply a should.
Yeah.
So if you go, I should salad. I'm eating a salad tonight.
I'll set a for everyone listening to the podcast right now. I'll set a challenge for you, and I'll do this in workshops sometimes, and usually it's a 4 week workshop. So in the first week, I'll let you do a little quick meditation, and then I'll say, okay, now I want you to take a big deep breath and ask yourself, what is one bad habit that I know keeps slowing me down? And I give them a second. That habit has popped in their head, so most likely right now, if you're listening, there's something that's in your head, and you're going, that is that bad habit. Commit yourself to 1 month of not doing that habit.
Hmm.
Commit it. See how that shifts your life. Because when you can do that with one thing, the possibility opens. Until you could do that one thing, the possibility's not there. You don't see it. Your mind can't even understand that that could even be a possibility.
And to attach onto that,
Hmm.
I sometimes feel like I fail at 1 month all the time because I fail one day. And so I added that, and this is a famous motivational speaker. He goes, I'm going to do this for one day, one more day.
One more day.
I'm going to break this habit for one more day. And that's really been working for me because it's like, if I can break this habit for one more day, you very quickly realize how many days you've broken it. And you stop counting how many days. At some
Yeah.
point, you go, one more day, one more day. And while you're about to do it, just say, one more day, one more day, one more day, one more day, one more day. I love you, 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 moving on. That's it.
Yeah.
There's no guilt to it. There's no this, there's that. You're a good, one more day. And then you fail. Guess what? Right
One
back
more
at
day.
it. One more day. One more day.
I mean, they pretty much built a AA all the way around that, you know?
Yeah, that's
One
it.
more
I
day.
mean, there's a reason. There's a reason why things are built the way they're built.
Yeah.
AA, and I'm not comparing to our habits as AA. I'm just comparing
Sure.
us as humans. Everything we do are as habits.
Hmm.
We developed them from somewhere. And so, how have we learned through other groups and other things, regardless of how you feel about it? We've learned that one more day is one thing that you should do. A lot of it is, go to therapy. You should do it. I started. It's
Yeah.
great. You know, It's so one more day. So yeah, I'm right there with you guys. One more day, 1 month, guys. Go get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. And everyone always talks, we talk about that reincarnation, that shifting who you are, the becoming of. But it's the habit. It change the habits, change character, change
Yeah,
your life. It shifts the perspective of that personal reality is our personality. That's
yeah,
what built us. Those little things we did over years that we kept going, it's not a big deal. Not a big
yeah.
deal. I'll quit
Well,
tomorrow.
the biggest personality trait to being successful, um, I would say two for me. One, determination.
Hmm.
I'm just not I'm not going to take no for an answer. And I know people say that, but it's so simple. Like I'm just going to do it. No, the biggest thing, no one is going to do anything for you. No one. Not even your parents. They want to, but they're not. They can't do it for you. Whatever you want to do, you got to go do it. And that's when I say determination. I just say if you want to go freaking do something, just get off and watch this and say, okay, I am going to go do it, and I'm not going to stop until I have it. It's done. I
Yeah.
don't write books. I've written two, but I don't write books. That's all I'm saying. Like I don't.
Yeah.
English was my worst subject in school, and this is a really good book. But it's because I'm so freaking determined. And guess what? There's hacks for everything. Utilize it. People are so scared of technologies. People are scared of ChatGPT. People are scared of all these things. Guess what? Everything is a tool to make you be more successful.
Hmm.
But make sure it's your voice. Make sure it's your thing. Use it as a tool. Use it as that. Use it. There's so many great ways to make your job so much easier. And you might not think something is accomplishable, but it so is.
Hmm.
Just write your 12 things down. Make them accomplishable. Make a couple in there, clench your butt cheeks a little bit,
I
but do it.
do. I'll do my. So I have one of these little things I keep close. It's the do it now, do it later list.
Yeah,
And then I have a third that I'll mark down at the bottom, and it just says universe list. So the stuff that I'm not sure how long it's going to take, but things I plan on, the things that are going to happen, and I put those under universe list because while I can't make that happen right now, it's all these combinations of little
yeah,
things. You'd be surprised in month 3, 4 down the line, all of a sudden universe started knocking out some of these things for you, and you're like, holy shit. I mean, I wanted the universe to take care of that. I didn't realize it was going to happen.
yeah,
But that's what opens that little spark, that seed, like they say,
yeah,
right? You plant that little seed that opens your expectation and your possibilities to shift the perspective of going, I can have what I want. I can do what I want. my wife, her ongoing right now, and she's been doing it with Charlie, which of course she does it for me. Which if you ever really want to make sure you're aware of something, you do tell your wife to remind you. I love you. Uh, when Charlie says something like, "Oh, I can't do it," Misha always goes, "Okay, well, let's switch the I can't to how can I?" And now every time I do it, I'm going, how can I? I try to say it to myself before she
Yeah.
hollers from across the
Well,
room.
what is something that you don't think you've been telling yourself you can't do? Is there anything that you?
Not necessarily. There is a. I have been playing on whether I was going to produce another film on my own, and
Hmm.
not necessarily on my own because obviously you cannot produce anything on your own.
On
You
your
can
own?
try, but
You can get it going on.
you could get it
You
going on
have to.
your
Here's the thing,
own.
you have to get it going
You
on your own.
literally have
Yeah,
to.
yeah, exactly. You have to will it into the place of it's moving and going, and you have to will it to be finished. Yeah,
And I've got the structure for a couple films that I've prepped in the past that I haven't gone back to grab. And every once in a while, something happens that pops one of those films back in my face, and I'm like, hey. Even with the book, it was a similar thing. I had, back in the day, just going through acting training and stuff, I started stumbling upon this understanding of this manifestation and this fake it till you make it thing of
yeah,
realizing what we're doing as actors is truly getting to somewhat play God. We're building this world, building character, and then allowing this character to live within the world without knowing that we've created all of it around it. We're literally kind of playing God. So what is stopping us then? And then when the secret and all these things came out, the basis of what that lesson was act as if it's real.
mm,
Allow yourself to believe you already have. I spent years in class learning how to act as if it's real, live in the moment of, and believe that I already have.
yeah,
So when that combination came, I started structuring out the original, the first book, which was Actor's Gift to Manifestation, and I it sat on my computer for I don't know how long, and my wife wasn't feeling so good, and ended up being thyroid and some other things, and there was a integrative medicine doctor that I had found him, his wife and I kind of started chatting on Instagram back in the day and became good friends. And when she ended up going through that, I was like, look, let's go check them out because there's deal with it later. But I don't. There's not a lot of doctors that I enjoy having conversations with because it's usually just here. Let's throw some things at it and see what sticks, which is usually medications that give you
yeah.
all kinds of other issues to deal with. And I was like, I really want you to go check them out. So our first couple visits, I still go with her when she goes. He has a book. I don't know if it's close to me or not. And hold on, let me grab it. Little shout out here to Mr. Trip Goolsby and Lene Goolsby. But it's Think and Live Longer. The idea from the book, when you start going through it, is he helps you, one, start off with creating your perfect health image.
Mm,
And while we're doing things to, change your eating habits, change things that you're doing, help you with maybe, evening out the hormones or whatever else might be going on, his main focus is you come meet with him every 2 weeks and you work your way through the book of each of these laws of our universe that we basically have, which is a good portion of what my book is. When they started doing that, I'm like, that's the health version of the fucking book that I've been sitting on for I don't know how long. And I was like, let's do it. I have no excuses. There's one was pandemic, two
yeah.
writer strike, three actor strike. I'm like, you literally have the world has shut down for you to do your thing. What's the excuse? And
Well,
it
the thing
took
is,
me
there's
that.
always going to be an excuse.
Absolutely.
I always laugh internally when people go, "Yeah, but we're on a writer strike." I go, "Perfect.
Hmm.
So what are you going to do?" I don't know. Okay. Like I can't do anything. I'm like, you could do literally whatever you want.
Hmm.
And it's hard to break that pattern of I'm waiting for auditions. I'm waiting for this.
Yeah.
Um, I
I mean,
haven't
you know,
auditioned. I haven't
we've spent
auditioned.
years
Yeah,
waiting,
I
doing
haven't.
nothing with our lives.
Exactly. I haven't auditioned in 4 years, and I had my first audition literally 2 weeks ago, and it was a show that's like, hey, we need a host that's going to shoot this thing out in China. And I was like, great, did it, thought it was great, and they're like, oh, they were going a different direction, and for a moment I was like, oh, I hate this. I hate this because I've spent so long creating and not getting rejected, and I was like, I hate this.
Yeah.
Guess what? I'm so it's so cool that someone even just put me up to that. And what I mean by that is I spent the last 4 years of my life becoming a good host. I was a horrible host. I wasn't even supposed to be hosting. My buddy Mike was supposed to be hosting, and he canceled last minute. And so I was like, I got it. And the first thing I did was This Is LA show, and it was a little local show. And I was like, trying to do a stand up talking to camera. And I was like, we're here in LA, welcome. And I thought, as an actor I could do it. But the reality was I was a
How did
horrible
the
host.
did that Borat accent come on
Yeah, it was.
automatically, or
I don't know where I went straight stupid. Um, but I was not good, and I was not good, and it took me 4 years to understand that hosting is simply just being so comfortable with your voice, and every time you are talking to the camera, know who you're talking to, because every single show that you do is completely different, and that's the difference with the hosting compared to acting. Acting is I'm talking to you and I'm with you and you and me are doing this thing and I'm here and I'm here. Hosting is the same thing, but the camera is a whole different person. So
hmm
when I'm hosting a show about vacation rentals, I know it's 30 to 50-year-olds, skewed 60% men in this market. A lot of the times the guys are watching it after a sporting event. So it's like, hey guys, what's going on? I know that golf shot was pretty cool, right? Now, if you want something else pretty cool, I know I have like the ultimate man bed you got to check out, as compared to if I'm talking to kids. We all know our dialogue changes when we talk to kids, or if you're talking to someone older. And that's the number one thing I always tell everybody is you have to get so comfortable with who you are that you also have to, then the next version of that is like, know who you're talking to.
Yeah.
So if the show is skewing older, I was like, all right, we have some beautiful homes for you today. Now, I know we've traveled through some of the most amazing parts of the world, but now, it's like, and it's different. Instead of like my buddy,
Right.
it's I'm informing you with information that I know you find intriguing. Down to talking to kids, like, do you guys like that? All right, guys, that was a magical house. I can't wait to show you. It's like, but that's it. It sounds so stupid, but that's just like in acting. I see so many hosts just trying to get past the words.
Yeah.
And that was my biggest shift is when the words are simply the tool to get you to where you need to go. It's like you said, memorizing the lines. We all can see my first edition ever. They're like, he's great, he's green. I don't know what that means. It means you're reading lines and you're acting. And it just takes time. Like, it's we've seen it over and over again. And even who knows? Maybe I'm a horrible host. I don't even know. I've been nominated for 3 hosting Emmys and I've lost every single time. So maybe I'm like good but not great. It's like, but at the end of the day, like it's my voice. I don't care. I'm doing what I do, and I love to do it. Like, it's like, and that's it. Like so that's a really fun
It's
journey.
it's funny you say the maybe because you've used that a couple times of like the maybe, but maybe.
Yeah.
And one of my friends that's well accomplished as an actor, we were chatting the other day, and he was like, I was on the set with Benicio del Toro, and of course, brilliant actor. And one of the things he will always do, anytime someone's like, dude, that was a wonderful scene, blah blah blah. Yeah, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. He doesn't judge. He's not. He's like, I will not judge the take. I don't know the take went. Maybe it was good. Maybe it wasn't.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. All I know is how prepared I am and how prepared I'm not.
Right. That we have control of.
I know that. That's it. And I know the difference. I know the shows, the shows I've directed that I've put a lot of energy in, and I know the shows that I've directed, the episodes I've directed, where I go, I did not put as much in as I probably should have
Yeah.
because of an excuse or a timing or a blah. Like, The only thing you can control is what I can control. The only person I can say maybe or maybe not to is myself based off how much energy I put into it. That's across the board. That's relationships, that's work, that's working out, that's the should I eat a salad, should I eat this? We all know the answer. Every single one of us knows the
Hmm.
answer. Every single one of us. You want to be in shape, you know the answer. Work out, eat right. You want
There's
to be
no
more
magic pill.
successful in your career, create more things and the things that you want to create over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until you've created so many things that one day you have a pile of things that you created and you've gotten pretty dang good at creating it. And then maybe, just maybe, you'll get a chance of doing something. And also, what? Maybe not. But if you base your value off the success that you got something, I can name 20 artists and painters in history that died and their work is
Yeah.
now internal. It's beyond. But when they were alive, it was nothing. So then, what's the point of doing it? And
Yeah.
that was part of the stuff that I've unraveled when I wrote my first book was that kind of conversations of like, if you're doing it for the success, I can name 20 artists right now that were never successful when they were alive, and after they died, their work is some of the most,
Iconic.
so yeah.
Yeah.
And so why are you doing it? Why?
And
Um,
say the name of the first book again. And is it on Amazon?
It is on Amazon. So the first book's just called Making It.
Okay.
I have it right here. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
very.
Sexy.
I put a
Did
picture.
did I mention how good looking he is yet? I don't think I.
Photoshop. This is before I started my second company, so I still had no gray hairs. No, but this one was um, to prove I could. That was it.
Yeah.
This was to prove I could, and that was like, is this good? Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. No, but the best compliment I ever got off that was a mom bought it, and she's like, my daughter's an actor and wants to be an actress, um, and she's like, I read it and I just said I was on the fence if I was going to let her go to LA, and I'm letting her do it because I know my job as a mother is to just empower her to make the things that she wants to make.
Mm,
And I'm scared that she's going to be successful. But after reading it, I finally understood that it's universal, whether it's acting, whether it's starting a business
yeah.
or going to law school. She realized she goes, she can go to stay here at home and start a business, and that business can fail in 6 years. And does that make it more safe or not safe? And she goes, thank you for sharing that. Basically, I realized that we are all on the same journey and making it as universal from acting all the way to this, to that, to this. Everything has its own roadblocks. Everything has its this. A small business of someone making cookies is just an idea in their head.
Yeah.
And I want to make cookies because I love making cookies, and I want to make a cookie shop, and I'm going to make these cookies, and I can see the cookies in my head, and da 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 da. And then you have to figure out how to do the business side of it. Guess what? So that's acting, that's hosting, that's the business. There's no difference. It's just
Mm-mm.
you got to make that first cookie.
It's an idea.
It's an idea.
Whether you run with it or not makes the difference. Are you
Yeah.
going to make that idea physical, or is it
Or
going
are
to
you not?
stay in the ether somewhere?
And that's why I say it's universal across not just the industry of
Yeah.
entertainment. It's our whole world. That's it. So if you have an idea, just go make it. Like simple. Doesn't have to be great.
And
Hell,
don't overthink it.
the first movie I ever did, I don't ever want to know or tell anybody what it is.
Ditto. We luckily have, the old school stuff of VHS. You can't really find most of our original stuff. Like, you got to
No.
go search for it. I do have our first on-screen share together. If I find it in time before I release this one, maybe I'll put a clip in
Or you
there.
don't. Or you don't have to.
I don't know.
Maybe you
People
do. Maybe
maybe they want to see you shaving your chest. Maybe
they
they
might.
don't.
They might. It was pre before I did chest workouts, so it was a little tiny. It was tiny. No,
Oh
but
yeah, it was early on.
yeah, I was early on in my workout days. But no, man, that's it. That's my journey. That's where I'm at. That's what I've been doing. Thanks for sharing with me.
I think that is a perfect place to wrap it up. And if I let this go without saying all of us has had those moments that said maybe this industry is not for me, I would be lying. I've probably had about three of those at least.
Here's my nugget of that is everything you do in life, acting, small business, or relationship, you're gonna have that thought of maybe I shouldn't be doing this.
Hmm.
Maybe I'm done. What am I doing here? And if you can just say, why did I do this? Why did I jump into this? What is it? I fell in love with this person. I always dreamed of starting a cookie company. I just wanted to travel for a living and show people what traveling is on television. Whatever it is, if you remember the impetus of why you started it, never let it go. Because guess what? The grass isn't always greener. The
Hmm.
things aren't always better. You're just going to jump into something else, and at some point, you're going to run into that same question of maybe, what am I doing here? And it will come up again. So if you're determined and you're dedicated to that, the sweet isn't so sweet without the sour. It's one of my favorite lines. Stick in it, stay in it, fight for it, believe in it, know it's always different than what you imagine, and just freaking love the crap out of it and be like that stupid little dog and just love every minute and be present, you know? And that's
And
the, and that's it.
as we wrap up on that one, show me the second book one more time. Is it hitting Amazon soon? When does that come out?
This book, Frankie's Note,
Yep.
I have the author's copy, not for resale, as one would see. Um, this is getting launched November 1st. This and the audiobook. The great thing about this book, I always tell people, it's an hour read, 5 pages per chapter. So if you want to just spend a read chapter to your kid, it's 5 pages. Um, it's easy to get through. I've added pictures in it,
Yeah, I love that.
illustrations. It's fun. It's for people that, it's still like 50 something pages, 60 pages. So it's still something that you have to get through, but 5 pages one day.
We'll have to check 'cause I think a kid's book might be in my future, especially having Charlie. It's just you can't help but to want to go into those imagination places.
No, because you just want to share it, and I'm telling you, it's fun.
Yeah.
And I challenge you, if you say you think you want to do it, don't even think about it. Just do
Okay.
it.
Okay. Okay. Committing right now.
I'm not
Kid's
saying
book.
think. Just say no. There's no shit. I'm thinking about it.
I heard you, babe.
You're
Stop.
like, get. But that's where the idea spawns from. Do you see
Yeah.
that? The idea
Yeah.
spawns from talking to someone like, oh, that's kind of cool. I want to write a kid's book because I think that'd be really cool to create a world. And I have so many tools and tips that basically will make your life so much easier at writing a book. Because at
Yeah.
the end of the day, you're not here to do it on your own.
No.
Have you understood what it took to write your first book? I have the skills and tool sets available, and I really should just probably at one point I should. Mother,
Ah.
shouldn't
See.
I?
God.
I have the ability to, like, if I did a course about teaching people how to get something on a television, I could do that course. If I had someone about how to write a book, there's so many quick, fast ways to have you write a book. Do you know that you can go have someone narrate your entire book for you for under $400? And you can work with them as a director. So you can create a fictional book and have someone create the audio book for $400.
You know me. I've got so many damn voices in my head. I'd want to do all of the voices.
I understand, but at one point you start realizing there's only one of you.
Yeah, but he's got so many voices in his head that won't.
He
Okay.
is. See, and that's the thing. I wanted to do it, but I dropped my ego when it was a kid's book, and I said I have a deep. I know who I am. My voice is like, "Hi,
Yeah.
welcome, welcome." It's like welcome to the show. It's like I know my voice. Now, if I did a horror book, different
There you go.
story.
Or
But
one
for a
with
kid's book, I
Borat.
wanted it to be this magical type of voice that allowed the audience to jump into it and kids could resonate to it. It's kind of like, he's an adult-ish maybe, but fun. And so there's so many fun ways that you can write a book, and I can help you navigate that so much faster, cost effectively,
Yeah.
understanding that Fiverr's your friend, that these little, like, I can give you 6 sites and you can make a book for under 1,500 bucks.
Wow.
That's it. And it's everything, and um, and that's one thing that's it's a tool. You don't know till you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I love
So
that. The things I know, the things I know I don't know, and the things I don't know that I don't know. When
yeah,
you
but
can
the things you
realize
don't
how
know and you don't even
huge.
know you don't even know it yet. Yeah, that's it. That's life. That's it. That's life. Life is things you don't even know. You don't even know it yet. What's going to happen tonight, tomorrow, the next day? Man, that literally is what life is. Um,
As always,
yeah.
love you, my brother. Pleasure catching up.
Thank you.
If you do a show about New Orleans where you come check out the puke in the streets or how to stay
I
safe
am
from
shooting in New
gunfire.
Orleans next week.
No,
Yes, sir.
are you really?
I will be out there next Monday and Tuesday.
All right, well then you can come outside of New Orleans to the Metairie area where it's safe and come have dinner with me or something.
I am. We're there Monday, Tuesday. Then we're driving up to the Gulf Coast. I don't know where that lands in the world,
Where
but
that goes.
I just know that goes a long way.
It
The
does.
Gulf Coast goes a very long way. But we are
All the
out
way to
there.
Florida.
Yep. So it's going to be a very long episode.
Beautiful beaches along the way though.
Yeah.
And cool little towns. Ocean Springs I shot a film there called Mississippi River Sharks. But Ocean Springs is this little place right across from Biloxi in
Yep.
Mississippi, and just the coolest. Like you'd swear you're on a little L.A. area, little beach town off. Like it's great. If you swing through there, check it out. It's a cool little town.
Well, I will be there next week, so I'll give you a ring.
All right, do so.
All right,
Love
buddy.
you, man.
Love
Bye.
you guys. Bye.
If you are enjoying the conversation and would like to learn more about our acting and spiritual connection, go to thedeanwest.com and there is a course that dives a little more into the understanding of our universal connection. It then goes into a beginner acting course that is great for actors and any human that wants to learn a new way of approaching their manifestation journey. My first book, The Actor's Gift to Manifestation, is live on Amazon and there will be a digital version on my website. And stay tuned as The Actor Alchemist will be coming out very soon, followed by The Actor's Reconstruction of Beliefs and Empowering Perspectives.